Alright, I'm going to demonstrate FpsAimForge's primary use case. So I'm going to come in and I say I'm not good at vertical static clicking, so vertical mouse movements. So I'm going to try and make a ladder playlist or a progressive overload playlist to work specifically on that. So I'm going to take this alternate click vertical sort of as the base, and you can see, you can double click to start it. Using quick settings here, hold S to bring up a settings menu. I'm going to change the theme. So this is what it looks like. It's just, turn off the metronome for right now. So it's just like alternating up, down, these grayish targets you can't click. It has clicked it has remove on miss, so you have one chance to hit it. So that's the base scenario. So I'm going to take that, where was it? I'm going to copy it into a new bundle, a test bundle. So now I have a new scenario. I'm going to hit U to edit it, and R to play the current version. So I'm going to say, I'm going to make a ladder playlist. So I'm going to make it so at each level it gets 4% smaller. So the radius size gets multiplied by 0.96. And I want to work on longer flicks. So most of the target placements are defined relative to the wall size. So I'm going to increase this. I'm just going to test it out. You can see they're a little further apart, but they're not really getting placed towards the edge. So I'm going to hit R to go back into the editor. Again, R is for restart scenario, the keybinds. And so I'm going to push them further. So one region, so it's alternating between the regions. So this is Y offset, positive and negative. So this is the top region. So I'm going to, 50% would be all the way at the top. So I'm going to try 35% and see what that looks like. Hit R. So now you can sort of not see them when you're, which isn't ideal. So I'm going to go back into the room editor. I'm going to bring the wall height down. And so one of the features is, still can't see it. Bring the height down. Be a little bit more. Say there. So one of the features of this is being able to easily tweak a scenario to get it to be what you want it to be. All right, and so now this is the base level we're working on right now. So I'm going to start the targets larger. So maybe there. All right, that seems good for a first level. Hit R to go back. So I'm hitting R, toggling R to go in and out of testing the scenario. So now I'm going to define the target scores I want. So the main one that matters is the end score. So this is going to be what I want to hit. And so all scores are based on 60-second normalized time. So if it's a 30-second scenario, the score would be multiplied by 2. So it always would be around like how many targets to hit per minute. I'm going to say 100 maybe is a good number to hit. Not too fast, but a decent amount. And so the bottom score is just, it's there to sort of give you the range. You get like 1 point if you get 75, and you get the full 5 if you get 100, and it goes linearly between. So this just sort of doesn't matter a ton, but you should just set it to something like a bottom goal, like worst case. All right, so there's the base scenario. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to create a levels playlist for this scenario. Use the same name. And so it automatically defined 30 levels. So level 1 was more or less what we saw. And level 30 is pretty tiny. And so each level it's just going gradually between the two. And so you can see editing it, there's 30 levels. Say I wanted to have 40, could do that. And now it's up to 40. If you could even say like the first level's too hard, so I want it to start at -5. So they're even bigger. So you could do that. You could say each level step is too much, so I want it to go in half-step increments. So now you get something in difficulty between the two. But I'm just going to go back and say this is fine. So you basically, I'm going to go and edit, hit U to edit. I'm going to make these short just for testing to not bore you too much. So you would go through and see I hit 100, so I got the full 5, and you can see here how many you've done for the levels. You can see here how well it was performing performance-wise. So the worst frame was 1000 FPS projected. So that's pretty good. So you can look at the render times. 57% were in the 3K to 10K FPS range. And you can look at the replays, so you can try and see your, this is a work in progress. There's a lot of, I think, room for improvement here, but you can see slow motion replays of your run. This is your mouse speed over time. I think you could ultimately like try and gauge like the flick speed, the micro correction, like time, and sort of break them down by that, which I think would be useful. But this is basically just, I think there's a lot of room for improvement, but it's useful and nice to always have a replay. And for static scenarios, it's only taking, what is that, a very small size, maybe 4K. All right, so let's go back and say, all right, 1 was fine, let's try 10. You just go through and see how well you're doing, and you see that 84, so not the greatest. Maybe we say like 100 was too ambitious. I'm gonna go down and say maybe like 60 to 80 is the range. That's the type of speed I want to be working on. Say more precision than speed. And so you can see it automatically went updated to 5. Score targets are evaluated dynamically. And so basically you just go down the playlist, you warm up maybe on lower levels, and you try and push down as far as you can. Another thing I've found somewhat useful for static is the metronome to sort of set pace, just to give like a reference, not to click to the beat, but just to sort of have a sense of urgency. So to use the metronome, you hold B to bring up the metronome settings, and I said, what was it? 80 was what I was aiming for, so I'll do 85 as sort of a reference. And that sort of just gives you a sense of pace and urgency. It can speed you up if you want. And so you just hold B, you can toggle it on and off, and that's saved per scenario. All settings for a scenario are saved at the base, so all the levels share the settings. You can change the sensitivity easily holding S, the quick settings. So here you can like change the crosshair. You can hold C to and scroll to change the crosshair size. You can change the theme, various themes. So that's the basics of it. You can really dial in what you want to work on and sort of in small increments challenge yourself more and more and sort of track it over time. Changing settings is very easy. Everything is fast. The program only takes 10 megabytes. So it's completely offline. You can also do this where you say I want to work on my flicking at 50 centimeters. So now everything is a new scenario with this 50 centimeters where your sensitivity is fixed and the scores aren't shared, so you can sort of track progress at different sensitivities separately, which is probably more useful for tracking, but could be useful for static as well.